Dead bodies too numerous to count.
This is
Violent
a
attacks.
Suicide bomber has crashed in the New York City subway. My child is severely malnourished.
The world has always had problems, but today, as globalization increases at a rapid pace, conflict is ever likely. When peoples of different ethnicities, cultures, and religious backgrounds all enter the global stage, there's bound to be disagreement. But perhaps, if people understand why others have the opinions they do, and what personal experiences, as well as cultural influences, led to such viewpoints, better dialogue can be had amongst very different people from largely different backgrounds. To put it quite simply, education, or cultural awareness, might lead to decreased international conflict. Culture is the collective identity of a group of peoples, and it is largely the result of history. As such, every country and ethnic group has their very own manifestation of it, with unique values and practices. Understanding culture means understanding the mindset of not just one, but many people. Cultural awareness is beautiful because even the slightest interaction of peoples from different backgrounds can foster the most humanistic phenomenon: empathy. Without awareness, empathy cannot exist, and on an increasingly globalized planet, cultural awareness is imperative to understanding others' opinions on controversial issues. To be aware of others, we must first be aware of ourselves, and that leads me to my next point: humans' overexploitation of the Earth's resources. We're currently on the brink of a worldwide disaster due to the overexploitation of finite resources. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on the most major issue. That's water. You may not know it, but many conflicts boil down to conflict over water and who has access to it. In the Middle East, the Jordan River was the cause of war, and it still causes much conflict today. The Jordan River is a religious conflict, a political conflict, and an agricultural conflict. This showcases the importance of water and the lengths people will go to obtain it if it is not readily available to them.
Big families usually buy water tanks so we can have enough water to last the whole week. But the tanks are expensive and not everyone can afford them. We get water 2 days a week. On those days, I switch on the taps and fill the tanks for a few hours so we can manage on the other days.
It's a problem affecting the whole region. Competition for water between Israel, Jordan and Syria has become so fierce that it's turned the once mighty Jordan River into a trickle.
Well, the river's been almost destroyed because of the conflict, because of the competition. Every country has tried to block off whatever it can before it reaches the international shared part of the river so that they can keep it to themselves. That's typical of a conflict situation.
This phenomenon is known as tragedy of the commons. What it means is that within a shared resource system, an individual user acts independently according to their own self-interest and behaves contrary to the common good of all users by depleting or spoiling that resource through their collective action. The United States and Mexico are currently in the midst of a huge water conflict. Water wars aren't just an overseas problem, they're a domestic issue. They're an international issue, and guess what? They're a human issue too. This is our planet, and because of our actions, its resources are being diminished.
Dead bodies too numerous to count. Violent
A
attacks.
suicide bomber has crashed in the New York City subway. My child.
10 months ago in Paris, I said before the world that we needed a strong global agreement to reduce carbon pollution and to set the world on a low-carbon course. The result was the Paris Agreement. Last month, the United States and China, the world's two largest economies and largest emitters, formally joined that agreement together. And today, the world has officially crossed the threshold for the Paris Agreement to take effect. Today, the world meets the moment. And if we follow through on the commitments that this Paris Agreement embodies, history may well judge it as a turning point for our planet.
If we are both self and culturally aware citizens of the world, we can create peace and promote a sustainable Earth on which peace can endure.
blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.